Before we kick things off with this episode, I just want to remind you guys that we have a giveaway going on right now in partnership with AudioQuest to win a pair of their Night Owl carbon headphones. They're valued at $700. That's a heck of a headphone for you. So for a chance to win these beauties, it's very easy to enter. All you have to do is like the AudioQuest Facebook page, step 1. Leave a review for this podcast on Apple iTunes. That's step 2. It's actually very easy. You can do it from your phone, your friend's phone, anybody's phone. Just jump on into the podcast apps, which is on almost every Apple phone, and go to The Occasional Podcast and leave a review. As you scroll down, there's an opportunity to leave a written review or a 5-star review. And then just submit, and you're good. Then all you need to do is email us at our email address, which is theoccasionalpodcast@gmail.com. And let us know what your usernames were on those 2 interfaces, and you will be registered for a chance to win the Night Owl Carbon Closed Back Headphone. For all the T's and C's, terms and conditions, and more details if you forgot, you can check out the Part-Time Audiophile page. It has links to everything there. You can just click on it. It's a little bit easier. So just go to Part-Time Audiophile, go in the search bar, and search for Night Owl. We will randomly select a winner from all eligible entries and contact you through the email address that you submit to our Gmail account. The contest is only running through 2/1/18. That's February 1st, 2018. So get those submissions in quick. And thank you for all the support already. It's been great. I love to see you guys respond. So feel free to shoot us an email to that email address if you have other correspondence, questions, comments, complaints. Thanks. Thank you. This is the CES show.
Okay.
This
Is this the CES show?
No,
I thought this was cable access channel number 26 in Schenectady. Am I missing something? I'm just saying.
The Occasional Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
The Occasional Podcast.
We're here with very special co-host Bes Nievera
Hi.
of Music Direct fame, WDCB FM 90.9 FM, hosting jazz.
DCB Jazz.
Yeah.
Lots of jazz, and it's been a lot of fun.
And he's been a brand ambassador, trade show coordinator. He's been working for Music Direct since 1995. And back in 81, he got into the biz. I don't know if it's really the biz. But
It's the biz.
It's a biz. It's a biz.
It's a biz.
It's a biz. And we're just got back from CES.
I'm tired.
I'm a little bit sleepy myself, but we're here to give you the highlights of the show. And, pardon, we have a lot to go through, so we're going to dive right into it. First out of the gate, Sennheiser, new closed-back headphone.
That's a big change in terms of headphone technology for Sennheiser, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The 800 and its successor, the 800S.
Yeah.
Great sound, very full range, very focused kind of sound. The new version is definitely something that head-fi guys and can lovers will just completely go ape over, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so it has pockets that absorb sound. So they're working on the reverberations. That's always kind of the trouble with these headphones. The closed-back variants have a lot more to deal with in terms of design instead of the open back. So they've done quite a bit on the technology side, on the design side, to make the headphone more a solid kind of response. So they have acoustic pockets, I think is the easiest way to kind of describe them, worked into the design to kind of negate some of the resonant frequencies. So we'll kind of see how that guy turns out. It was brand new, spanking. They just brought it out. And it sounded good. I heard it. Did you get a chance to hear it?
Briefly. I mean, obviously, like you and I are running around with our various assignments for our companies, and the Sennheiser exhibit was definitely something to enjoy. I was more focused on the high-res pavilion, which was a completely different arena, but I also had a chance to check out the many streaming products there and discuss things with companies like Blue Sound and so forth. I think the key thing for me on visiting that pavilion was the announcement of Qobuz into the new streaming landscape. It's a formidable competitor to Tidal. It has certain attributes that may find people really ready to go for a potentially less expensive alternative to the $19.99 cost of Tidal. But I also know that some people are going to wonder, is it MQA compatible? You know, that was a question that was raised, but they really didn't quite cover that in my conversations with them.
So I did want to ask you a question because we both had a chance to go to the Technics room, and they have a new turntable, new flagship turntable, priced at $10,000.
Yep.
And then $20,000 for the system. And to me, the system was pretty self-explanatory. It has a platter, it has the plinth, all of the good stuff. It's a plug-in, not a plug-and-play, but it is a full turntable. The $10,000 version, if you could kind of enlighten us into what that application was.
Well, let's begin with the fact that direct drive turntables and their variations and comebacks over the past couple of years have been pretty dynamic. VPI did one with their direct drive turntable in the form of the Classic platform some years ago with relative review and success. But Panasonic, which has had, I guess the enviable distinction of being one of the granddaddies of the direct drive format in the 70s, as I recall, bringing back the original SP10 is the boy, and also the SL1000. These are turntables that, as a result of technology changes, material costs, the engineering of the turntable, is one of the reasons why it has such a premium price point. But the sound quality on them, in my opinion, in listening to them on initial visits during CES at the Venetian, mind-blowing. Now, mind you, of course, they were also running it through systems with high-performance cartridges from Ortofon and so forth. So for the layman who's listening to this program, they're probably going, you know, and my reaction is, well, you had to be there, man. That's all I can say.
Was one of the cartridges that laser or the optical cartridge? I think they had the glowing red thing. I looked it up.
I honestly, when I was there, I didn't check that out.
Well, there's 3 tone arms.
There were 3 tone arms in there, but at the time that I was in the room, the Ortofon was running.
Yeah, okay.
And the Ortofon is the one that I was really like going, It was quite good, very open, sweet musicality, excellent 3-dimensionality. In short, just a great sounding cartridge when matched with that table and the system at large in that room.
So the application of the $10,000 version, back to that.
Techniques, when they were first introducing direct drive turntables, were designing them for broadcast markets, for markets beyond the audiophile circuit. So a table like the old SP10 is basically that. It's a turntable. And then you put it on a base or a mounting board or design your own plinth around it, and then you would use your idea of tone arms, whether it's an old Decca that's lying around or a Transcription 12 or longer length tone arm. All those things are what made the SP10 what it is. And it continues to be that way with this latest iteration. So if somebody had a SME, if somebody had a Dynavector, if they had any kind of tone arm, and you put it in the bass and you did all your alignments and so forth to drill it out, you then have a turntable that is as master grade as possible in the mindset of what Technics was doing when they made this.
Audio Quest.
Well, Garth was really the ticket point for this discussion. It was an extension of the concepts of why the Niagara product came to market and what's next for them. Their power chords are also beginning to take shape and change from just your basic little Energy series to even more dynamic power chords that are going to go head-to-head with the Shinatas and other brands of the world.
I heard you got a chance to talk to everyone's favorite Grumpy Gus. Roy Hall.
Wait a minute. Let's not call him a grumpy
I think
Gus.
that I think that he would.
That's your opinion, pal. I'm just saying that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
He's
not a grumpy Gus, but I
Gus.
feel like he would take that title happily. To be honest,
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would come with. He would have a wicked witticism in which he would strike you down like a lightning bolt.
He would. Here's the thing. Is if I ever interviewed him, I would say, Hey, Roy, what do you hate about this? What do you hate about that? And he would that would be every question.
That would be every question.
And he would love it.
All right, so
he's not a grumpy Gus, but he has a demeanor.
His demeanor is nothing compared to his knowledge, his passion for the industry, his charm, his wicked sense of humor, and his ability to put you down until you're buried.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his taste in scotch.
And his taste in scotch. Because, 5 glasses or 5 little drams into the conversation that I had with him, we were having way too much fun. But seriously, though, back to your question. Roy Hall of Music Hall was there with a brand new version of the MMF 7 Series turntable with a walnut plinth, triple plinth. And golly gee, that was great. Did I say golly gee?
Yeah, I think it's 1968 here.
Yeah, all right, let me try it again. Okay?
Whoa. Easy. Kids in the audience.
Is this a family show? Oh, golly.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, that's why you're going to bleep that out. Roy waxed poetic about the technology, how the isolation came to be and why it is arguably better than a conventional spring-loaded technology or other isolated technologies. We also spoke about his recent foray into the world of writing. As many people are aware, he is now a contributing writer to the PS Audio magazine Copper, and he writes far better than many other writers that I know, with the exception of a few people. Let's see, Rafe, and others, whose style of reportage are clean, effective, and bring the message home. Roy is a storyteller. Roy has anecdotes that'll just drive you wild.
Oh my goodness! His first piece was about his poor relative. I think it was his aunt who actually, I didn't realize this still happened in the current day, but she had a lobotomy forced on her.
Oh my gosh!
Did you read that one?
That one I didn't read. I was reading about his memories working with Ivor.
I was blown away. It's like he knew someone that literally had a lobotomy forced upon them in their youth or something, and it was I think it was his aunt maybe, and it was a story about her, and I'm like, that is horrific, because I thought they banned that practice long before it would ever reach us in some type of distant way, but no, he remembers the day.
Ooh. Well, I mean, but that also gives you the sense of Roy Hall, the person. That he's unlike many of our fellow consumer electronics and high-end audio people. Everybody has a memory, but Roy is living history in terms of his own upbringing, of his life, and of his success story to create Music Hall, the brand. Yes, he'll ruffle feathers, but he does that, I think, because, well, he's Roy, and in my way, I think that's a huge positive. If you don't know Roy, you're not going to know him. You're not going to love him the way that I do. I think he's just a sweetheart, a great guy, and
he's a very talented family.
Incredibly talented.
Did you hear about his son?
Now what? What's going on with the Hall family?
No, I believe his son won Top Chef reality show. Did you hear that?
Well, I knew that.
Oh yeah.
But I thought there was there something with Esquire or anything like that with him?
I can't keep up with all of his drama, dude.
I just need to go to his restaurant. That's all I have to say.
Is there one in L.A.?
I don't think there's one in L.A.
Oh.
I think he keeps his business in New York. But
Yeah. Talented family.
very talented family.
SVS. What do we got there?
Gary Yakubian. Those of us who know him in his industry and his time, including a stint with the CES, now known, or CEA, now known as CTA. He's really, really a wonderful guy, very charismatic, but very knowledgeable and very passionate about making sure that it isn't just an audiophile lover that wants his products, but people who need to be involved and to be musically happy with what they got. And the fact that SVS stuff, including their subwoofers, will match up to anything, and you don't have to putz around with it.
And they have the new 4000 series, I believe.
4000 series subwoofer
With an upright giant guy. Did you see that one?
I did.
Yeah.
But he also introduced a high quality powered speaker, which, in my opinion, is going to go head to head on some of the latest generation of loudspeakers, including, of course, the KEF 50 with its wireless technology. Multiple amplifier technology inside the SVS, much like the KEF.
No, was this a bookshelf, a floor stander?
Bookshelf.
Bookshelf.
Yeah.
There was actually a couple of bookshelf-style wireless powered speakers going around. I would have to say 4 to 5.
Yeah, I obviously my as I said, my assignment didn't cover all the bases on that sort of stuff, but what I did glance at and listen to, I was like, okay.
So we had ELAC. ELAC had a powered.
Yes, that's right. ELAC's latest generation stuff with Andrew Jones talking about it. I particularly was fond of the fact that the way that he was isolating the speaker in terms of the main metal base.
Yeah.
And the wood cabinet,
because you can turn off the digital section, I think he said.
That's exactly right. And the sound quality that elicited from that was strikingly natural, very rich in tone. So definitely a fun speaker, and I'm looking forward to seeing more things of that. That's the Argo series, I believe it was, that was being introduced at the show.
And then we had, obviously, the wireless KEF LS50, which is one of the first out of the gates.
The fact that it's been enjoying a rich success story and reviews out of the, I had concerns about KEF many years ago, and when this product went to market with the LS50 as its original part, the passive one, to celebrate the company's big 50th anniversary, everybody was like gaga over it. And when we at Music Direct were approached with the LS50 wireless, we had a chance to listen to it, and my first reaction is, about time. I was very happy that we got this. And it's been selling like crazy.
I've heard.
And I'm really happy about it.
And also, Sandy Gross had a little demo of a powered speaker that he's working on as well. So that was out there, too.
But I think that also says that powered loudspeakers have been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Okay? If we look back within the past couple of years with Dyne Audio and their Zeo
They were
series,
one of the first, right?
they were one of the first.
Yeah.
But then we also look back at Meridian, which was one of the big boys with their all digital loudspeakers. Powered loudspeakers is a category that is emerged because, let's face it, separates and component systems for a lot of people is, I hate to say it, still kind of out of reach for some people. But at the same token, the powered loudspeaker market is all over the place. ATC with their flagship products, down to the KEF 50 wireless. What's important is that each of these manufacturers have taken deep considerations into the quality of the amplifier design, whether it's Class D or a combination A-B circuitry, and combined it with their loudspeakers in very dense cabinets. Yeah. So you really can't hear diddly in terms of, that little capacitor's making noise, and things like that. It just isn't happening.
So Klipsch. It's got a lot of consonants and not a lot of vowels.
Well, if you if you were over at the main hall and you'd see Rob Lowe and everybody, and every celebrity heading over there, you were having a good time. But if you were over at the Venetian, where you and I were,
You mean Iggy Azalea?
yeah,
She was at the Monster booth.
whatever. So if we were over at the Venetian booth and we were checking out the heritage speakers, including the legendary Klipschorn, surrounded by the latest generation of 21st century stuff, AudioQuest wiring, Carry audio equipment, VPI turntables, MoFi turntables, and the preamp. So I came in there thinking, oh, what are you guys doing here? And then when they laid a track down on one of the turntables, I was like, now I know why you're here. Wow. Hello. It's so nice to hear this sound.
And they had like a vintage look to that headphone amplifier. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I did, and I had a chance to check it out. I sampled a number of tracks on it, and whereas the headphone market is rich with people who are just kind of like going, oh, it's another headphone amplifier. Does it have this kind of circuitry? What is it doing in terms of EQing? Blah, 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 blah. What's the DAC? These headphones that they were displaying were headphones that were of merit and in keeping of Paul's vision of sound and sound quality with no compromise. And I felt that they achieved their goal in playing everything from digital files to a conventional physical media like a CD. And they did that quite nicely.
Tell me about PS Audio Red Cloud.
Red Cloud is a firmware update for the DirectStream DAC. I had a chance to talk to Bill Labens and told him that when we were talking about Red Cloud with customers both online and over the phone in our office in Chicago, the verdict was unanimous. It was the first upgrade that really had no bugs, that people were really enamored by the quality of the changes to the sound, and that it was the upgrade of the moment for a product that has been on the market for several years now, and that PS Audio is continuing to support by making it even better and better and better with each firmware update. And Red Cloud really is the pinnacle of what they've done. Red Cloud has to do with the number of, as Bill described it, it has to do with the number of mountains in Colorado, and that's why it got its name. But the technology is the result of their chief designer, who's this, as Bill described it, a hippie.
Out of Colorado?
Well, the company, but not him.
I never heard of one of those in Colorado.
That's crazy. You think? Let's just go up to the Continental Divide and smoke some weed. Why don't we?
How about NAD? What do they got going amplifier wise?
NAD introduced the latest version of the 3020 integrated amplifier with improved circuitry and, for the first time, a built-in phonostage.
What?
So people who are like clamoring to stop the little extra box feature of small amplifiers like this, say hello to the 3020, and it's fun. It's definitely fun. Plus, also, they had announced as far back as Rocky Mountain a new turntable. So that was very exciting as well.
What does MoFi got going on?
Well, the buzz is all about the one-steps. Obviously, with the announcement of Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, and subsequent titles to come out, and the success of the Nightfly and Abraxas, and the Bill Evans.
I heard that one, and I liked it. Let me tell you what. I heard it, the SACD.
You're speaking like you're like a sex addict there, man.
There is a naked woman on the cover. But I will say this. I compared it, AB, the SACD, next to the stream, the title stream. And the stream sounded thinner. There was more of a fullness, and this is like distorted guitar and all this jazz, and even his distorted guitar, that as it came in, richer tapestry. Good.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
I'm glad you like it.
So there's more of that coming, you're saying?
Yes, definitely more of that coming. As with any product like that, and for that matter, any announcement of a reissue or a record that's going to come out on vinyl, Yeah, just got to be patient. As soon as it comes out, jump on it.
I'm waiting. Disease, what do they got?
3 new models of headphones, two in-ears, a new one that's going to come out under $300 retail.
And this is their open back.
So it's got that really cool little design thing on the back.
But these guys have, it's basically a new product in the category. Open back in-ear isn't really a direction that's been explored very much. It's got a planar magnetic driver. It's open back, and the bass basically sounds more natural.
Yeah, and let's remember that contrasted to a closed back in-ear headphone, the level of smoothness in the bottom end is much more realized. There's no fatigue. There's no shock value to too much extension on the top end. It really just it just sings, in my opinion.
It's not a closed back-ish design. It has a tendency to let sound in a little bit more, but that is like the beauty of the design, and that's the same thing that goes for open back and closed back headphones. But this was a first. No one really had an in-ear monitor that was open back, and lo and behold, our disease sprung forward, and now we have it. And I think it's delicious. It tastes good. It's like candy for your ear. I also got to visit with a company called SonarWorks. We had a private little meeting. They didn't have a company. They didn't have a room, so to speak, but they were very interesting. They're making a DSP-ish kind of product, which, well, if you think about it, if you're going to apply your favorite frequency adjustment to any headphones, you're going to still have to deal with the sonic signature of that headphone, the frequency response of that particular headphone. These guys have created a baseline. So they go out there and you plug in their app what headphone you're listening to. It flatlines it. So in essence, every headphone sounds the same through their DSP. And I demoed this, and while it wasn't identical, the frequency response felt darn close.
Really?
2 different headphones, one good, the HD 650 by Sennheiser, and then a Marshall one. And they got them to sound pretty similar. Not completely, but close. So anyways, the whole point of it is to flatline every headphone, then apply your preference of bass, and they also have a couple of the other variables. So it's like true leveling of the playing field, then application of your preference. So no matter what headphone you plug in, you're hearing basically the same thing that you like. So if you like a little more bass out of neutral, you're going to get that exact same lift from every headphone you listen to. They have an app on their computer. They have an app on the mobile. And they've been working with these kind of the production houses, the recording studios in LA. So these guys can like listen to their flatlined studio monitor. So they got their roots, and they measure and do this kind of calibration for the studio, and then allow these people to listen to that exact same frequency response in their car or on their headphones. So they've been doing that, and now they're bringing it to market they're looking for partnerships to kind of get this thing going and really like have a true augmentation of your frequency response that gives you exactly what you want no matter where you're listening to it. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's very good.
Anything happen with Bowers and Wilkins on your end?
No.
Nothing exciting?
No.
What about MyTech? You got anything from MyTech?
No, you do. Come on.
I went. They had their.
You went there.
I was there.
I mean, ironically, I'm surprised we didn't even bump into each other at the high res pavilion. I mean,
I was there for a short term. I visited. Estelle and Kern had a pavilion. They were there, and then I went to their actual thing. Did you see their big thing?
Yeah, I did. Oh my God!
They partnered with an K-pop label, I believe, and they're based out of Korea. And they had a DJ, and it was bright white, and they had their products, and it was super loud. And I said hi, and I saw they had these little speakers and a new desktop amplifier.
All this with the DJ throwing K-pop.
Thumping. And my eardrum.
What is it with the K-pop phenomenon? Really?
I actually just got back from Seoul. I've been there.
Okay.
I still have no idea.
I have friends whose kids are completely into K-pop. I'm like, Would someone please explain this to me? This is not Backstreet Boys kind of stuff. This is a phenomenon that is bizarre to me. Someone tell me, please. Audience, say something.
And then it's crickets. Just crickets. So it was fun. Oh, I also forgot to mention open bar. And
that's why. Okay.
even
fabulous.
with that, I left pretty readily. So I was in and out of there kind of fast. It was a little loud for me, but they have a matching speaker that goes with the headphone desktop amplifier. Has a little speaker tabs, 15 watts. The speakers, hopefully they sound good. They did not play through the speakers. It was a giant PA, but yeah, fun. And it was a madhouse. And I saw Iggy Azalea, and I saw a lot of. Okay, I'll tell you this. A guy came. I rode there on the bus with this gentleman. He's a wonderful man, and he was from Singapore. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Hey, how are you?" And he just started talking to me. And I don't really talk to random people very often. Do you, Bez? Do you stuff?
No, I just sit there. I just sit there in the corner of the train car, just bobbing my body and going, "Hi, hi."
He struck up a conversation with me. I was like, "Fine, let's talk, old man." And we were chatting, and he literally was like, I was like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I'm retired, actually." I'm like, "That's great." And I was like, "Well, what do you do?" And he's like, "Well, I came a couple of years back, and I really helped distribution with GoPro, and I made a good 15 mil off the deal. So now I just like to come and kind of keep an eye on things."
What a gatekeeper.
And then he gave me a mil of it, and I was like, "That's a nice guy."
What are we doing here doing a podcast then? We should be we should be down Rodeo Drive or something.
I keep my cards close to my chest, dude.
Yeah, all right, great.
So what was your overall impression? Okay, so here we have another thing. 2-channel. It was limited to the 29th floor. And maybe a little bit on the 25th. What do you think? Is it shrinking? Is it growing?
Oh, it's definitely shrinking.
Yeah.
This is not meant to be a slap to our own industry, but rather a reaction and or response and or action by the CTA to be forward-thinking and sort of leave the high-end audio stuff behind or displace it. And by displacing it, I mean it's now at the providence of shows like Expona, Capitol Audio Fest, Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, the New York Audio Show, the San Francisco shows, the LA show, if that rematerializes, to take up the slack. Let's not forget that the CES started out in Chicago decades ago as a stereo show, a place where people could see things like consoles, televisions, and whatnot. But it was also consumer electronics, which is the broad stroke of the word CES, Consumer Electronics Show. If we fast forward to the 21st century, the present, we are now looking at people walking those central halls and north and south halls of LVCC that you and I did the same time during the show, and everything from robotic cameras to that cornucopia of, yet again, how many cases can I sell you for your iPhone or for your Android, that really says we thank those high-end audio manufacturers, but we need to move on to bigger fish.
Yeah.
But that also is a slap in the face at the same time. I think that the high-end market, as many of my colleagues have discussed, time and time again, is the reason why the CES evolved. It's why people still come to those shows so that they can check out the latest and greatest in gear. But now it's little robots kind of going, "Hi, I'm here to vacuum your floor." That kind of shtick.
Giant TVs. How many TVs? How many TVs?
Just one, please. I have a 16 by 24 living room. That's about it, bro.
Yeah. They have, it's like 8K, 16K. It's like 16K.
Why don't you just touch the screen until you go into the screen,
I know. It's not
it's like the Purple Rose of Cairo, okay? Jeff Daniel comes screaming out on the screen to Mia Farrow going, "Hi!" That's what it is for me.
Yeah. It's too bad. I mean, in the headphones section, the South Hall, the Central, it's still pretty vibrant because they're looking at a lot of Bluetooth. Since they dropped the jack on the iPhone, everybody's scrambling to make sure they have connectivity to it because everybody's got one in their pocket, and it's really taken over. I mean, if you're looking at these companies that were traditionally high-end audio headphone companies, Audio-Technica, they had like 15 new headphones in their line. It's not a scramble, but they're adapting to the times. But the times have changed. That's what it is, you know.
Back to your question, what does it mean to companies that have been long there and have enjoyed great relationships with distributors and dealers who have come from all parts of the United States and, for that matter, all around the world to descend on Las Vegas? Well, many of my people that I've surveyed, that I've talked to, have basically said Munich. Munich is the new home for this category of product, and that the show promoters of Munich, which is later this year, have done a far better job of promoting the concept that high-end audio is more than just the technology. It's a statement. And in order for it to be a statement, we're going to show you the world. So a bazillion turntables, a bazillion physical media, CD players and the like, highest quality amplifiers, preamps, and so forth. That's a show that I'm really anxious to renew my passport and get on a plane and watch.
We should maybe end on that. Was sing
What,
together.
with my high pitched voice?
With the podcast. That's pretty good.